So when you think of a mental illness that can increase morality by 25%, what do you think of? You think of depression, you think of anxiety. What if I tell you it's loneliness?
Well, you might say, man, I'm lonely. How come I'm not dying?
Well, this is irrelevant to the point, but we'll find the answer to this question, and we'll also see more about what loneliness is. Well, look, I've got a couple of very worrying stats for you here. Over half of the adult population reported feeling lonely only in 2019, and single-person households since 1960 have increased by 442%, meaning it's very, very lonely out there. But where does it differ? Which generation do you think is the loneliest? Well, I think we all know the answer. Yep, it's the generation that's never shy of breaking the records for the negative. The generation of 80% adults that are lonely. The generation in which 60% of its adult male are single. It is, of course, Generation Z. So here's the thing, women have claimed to have depression twice as much as men.
But also, men have severely higher suicide rates.
And that means that men are more likely to get into situations where they commit suicide than women. And it begs an interesting question, and it also makes a very interesting point here. Men and women, which one do you think will go to therapy the second they feel bad? Which one do you think will go to visit a psychologist when they feel a little bit wrong? Which one do you think? It's gonna be the woman. So, knowing that men are more likely to underestimate their situation, and they are also more single, it's reported to be more single than women, it also puts them at a risk of underreporting for loneliness, even though they're more lonely than women. And that swiftly brings us to our first reason, which is family. And I don't even think I need to explain anything to you. I'll just give you two stats and I think you can figure it out for yourself. The first one is that the average child in the United States spends 4 to 6 hours on screen time. And what about the teens? 9 hours a day, which amounts to 63 hours a week. And it brings us to our disturbing part here, and it's specifically for boys. How much do you think the average boy in the US spends time on one-on-one conversations with his dad? 30 minutes. That is very disturbing. And it really tells you the problem. So moving swiftly on, I think we all have that one friend, one very annoying friend that always claims to be an introvert. Oh, look at me, I'm an introvert. I wanna be alone. I wanna read books. I wanna stay in the dark. And yeah, I think we all have that one friend. And frankly, according to the MBTI test, nearly 57% of adults report being introverted. And well, speaking of easier life, it brings us to our third reason, and is that life is just easier.
I mean, you don't physically need to go and wait in lines to buy your groceries. You don't physically need to go and buy your home supplies from somewhere hundreds of kilometers away. You can just order them.
I mean, you can physically work from home now. You can do most of the things at home. You don't need to physically go outside and, order your pumpkin and smoothie latte with extra sugar. Just drink black coffee, man. It's not that difficult. Okay, I think I'm just offended. Half the viewers have clicked off the video now. But moving swiftly on, I think it's very important to know that, alright, most people, a lot of them, they find their spouse, they find their best friend, their very close people as co-workers. And now that more and more people are working at home, it means that, yep, more and more people are becoming lonely from being at home, from having easier lives. That's also becoming a very big problem. Well, that also brings us to our next reason. It's very interesting. It's a very controversial one. It's about religion. And there's a very interesting stat. People that are religiously unaffiliated have a direct correlation with loneliness. This is very interesting. Only about 27% of Gen Z identify as white Christians in America. Well, that's if they don't identify as crocodiles or anything else. But as I was saying, this generation is the second most unaffiliated in terms of religion than any other ones. It's very interesting. Imagine what does all of this have to do with religion? Whoa. And there's an interesting part. People, and it's a very interesting stat, that a lot of people find their spouses And even at times they're friends in the church. And it makes sense. So for the final point of the video, I wanted to say this, and this is the final reason, and it's more and more than all the others, okay? Is that everything I said was about facts, was about numbers, this, that, numbers, facts, point the arrows there, his fault, her fault. But this is the problem. You, if you're lonely, you can't do everything all by yourself if you want to get yourself out of the loneliness. But what you can do is help others or the other person get out of his or her loneliness by helping them. And I love, and this is a very good, interesting, natural point to say, is that you can't help yourself getting out of loneliness, but you can help others. And that creates a bond, and you will get out of loneliness by helping others. It's beautiful. And I don't think there's any better notes to end the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you got value out of this video, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.